The President of the United States accused an Olympic canoeist of sabotaging a reflecting pool. His own prosecutor now says the real culprit was shoddy construction. From Berlin, this is the kind of story that makes you rub your eyes. Not because a public monument developed algae that happens everywhere, but because in America a botched renovation can become a federal criminal case, a loyalty test, and a public shaming, all before anyone thinks to ask the builder what went wrong. Here is what happened. Donald Trump decided the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, that 600-meter stretch of water between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, needed a fresh blue shimmer. He ordered expensive repairs, declaring that previous presidents had criminally neglected the landmark. The floor was relined piece by piece. Then, just days after the work finished, the water turned green again. Algae. And rather than reach for the obvious explanation that fresh water in a shallow basin under the summer sun tends to do this, the president reached for a conspiracy. This, he insisted, was vandalism, sabotage of his beloved project. Enter David Hearn, a former Olympian who represented the United States 3 times in canoe slalom. He became the target of the justice system. According to the district attorney, surveillance cameras showed him tearing at part of the new lining and reaching into the water, which he admitted. Critics called the charges fabricated, more a product of presidential displeasure than of any actual crime. A jury nonetheless found enough to allow a vandalism case to proceed. These monuments belong to all of us, the prosecutor declared, and we will hold accountable those who try to damage or desecrate them. That prosecutor was Jeanine, a longtime Trump ally, which brings us to the twist. On Friday afternoon, her office asked the court to drop the case entirely. A follow-up examination had found the damage to the pool lining was not caused by vandalism at all. It was caused by serious construction defects, the fault of the contractor hired to do the job. The water turned green because the work was bad, not because a kayaker sabotaged the Republic. And how did the president respond to being corrected by the evidence? Not with a quiet acknowledgement. He publicly pilloried his own ally. He disagreed with Pirro 100%, he wrote on his platform. I don't understand what she was thinking. Let us sit with that for a moment. A prosecutor followed the facts, dropped a case built on the president's assumption, and was rewarded with a public dressing down. In most democracies, a prosecutor who declines to pursue a baseless charge is doing precisely her job. In this version of America, she becomes a problem to be named and shamed. The algae, it turns out, was the least remarkable thing about this story. What lingers is the instinct. When reality disagrees with the president, reality is not revised, the messenger is. That's the view from here. What does it look like where you are? Drop it in the comments and subscribe for the perspective American media won't give you.